It has been one day. Unbeknownst to everyone except for Marussia Vine and Mother Jasmine, the head of the priesthood, you Geist have moved into the undercroft of the priesthood of Pekash. You needed a place to stay that was, as it were, off the grid. They needed a night warden, a vigilante to keep an eye on things, both mundane and occult. Their undercroft is and always has been slightly haunted. It was originally under a different religious order before they moved in, so they feel much better with you living down here to keep an eye on things. And of course, you immediately went about tending to your top priority, Nyx's corpse. You reached out to someone that you knew to be discreet and well-resourced, the Gentleman Brigands. And man, they delivered. Utilizing their myriad connections and funds, they amassed the pieces required. They assembled a contraption and installed it in one of the old tombs in the Undercroft, where Nyx's body has been deposited. This contraption converts fresh blood into a cryogenic arcane substance that keeps the body in the tomb from decaying. And of course, that in itself is very impressive. The speed at which it happened is even more so. The Brigand's capacity to quickly locate and assemble all of this, and to do it discreetly, is utterly astounding. So as this elderly woman wearing the garb of a traditional nun finishes compiling these contraptions, she turns to you, Geist, and says, "It's always quite an effort to play someone of a shorter stature than myself, but I do believe that I have managed even in these long flowing robes. This one, my friend, took substantial effort. You do owe us for this. We are working on something big. We'll bring you in on it soon."
Your skills never cease to amaze me. Point me in a direction, and I will be a tool of your destruction however you desire it.
Destruction may be a little strong for what we are looking for this time, though of course we will keep that in mind. Looking for something that's a bit of a lighter touch, not dissimilar to the job that you did for us months ago at the wedding.
Of course. How could I forget? A light touch. Certainly I can provide that as well.
Very good, my friend. And of course, as able, we will inform you more as we learn more of the particulars of what you are interested in regarding the occult, Molitor, of course. In fact, I've been speaking with the other members of the Gentleman Brigands, and in a shorter time than we originally planned, we would like to give you a, promotion, as it were. Bring you deeper into the fold, should you be willing.
I wholeheartedly accept. My time with the cobblers has been trying. I'm curious as to how much they see in me yet as an asset. If I can ally myself with you more closely and be a greater asset, I do so wholeheartedly. You've been nothing but kind to me, and I am eager to repay that.
Very good, my friend. I imagine you are feeling a great deal of emotions at this time. Let them run their course, be gentle with yourself, and you have done what you needed to preserve this corpse. There is hope for it yet. He'll lower his nun shawl again and shamble out of the undercroft, leaving you in this crypt beneath the priesthood of Pekash.
We see a Geist very much still in shock from recent events. Someone that's trying to come to terms with who they are, what they need to be doing, what was their purpose, getting close to the cobblers, getting close to these individuals that they soon called friends. And as Jacques stands here leaving, telling him to run through the full course of emotions, he feels wrong in this moment because he doesn't feel anything currently. And the inner monologue running and playing on repeat in his head, alone. And they say we come into this world alone and we leave this world alone, but I was but 20 feet away from her when she left this plane to something else. I was bound, I was gagged, I was blind in more ways than one as she fell, and I could do nothing but watch and wait as the final bit of life fled from her eyes, a corpse already before I arrived, and now I am here surrounded among them. I have a chance to do something. I need to ensure that I don't let my own personal feelings get in the way anymore. I cannot let the rest of the individuals that I so soon called friends get in the way anymore. Valor may be rash, but he has a way of solving things with a brutal elegance. There is not room for error whenever there is just power and raw carnal fury. If I am to take what I want, I must seize it without second-guessing myself. I thought that I could do this. I thought that I could open up and let other individuals see who I really am, but I realized that was a mistake. It's better here, in this dark crypt, alone. Gregory will be useful. I have the same qualms now that I did months ago. Deep down, he's a good person, and I fear he will not make the right decision when push comes to shove. Maybe it's time I shove him before he has a chance to make the choice for himself.
And to that end, you have a blood crypt now, which requires fresh blood.
Yeah, yes I
I'll
do.
give you the mechanical rundown, and then I'll let you start to feed it. It consumes 1 pint of blood per day. It can hold up to 8 gallons at a time, so you can front load it and then just let it run its course. Donating a pint of blood beyond the first, so the first one is free.
Everybody gets one.
Everybody gets one. Subsequent pints of blood coming from the same person in a 24-hour period must make endurance checks. On a failure, you've given too much blood and you suffer fatigue. Now, once you gain fatigue, you can choose to keep giving blood and suffer more fatigue. Obviously, that's very dangerous, but you can do that. If it does not have blood, if the tank is empty for 24 hours, then the body resumes decaying at its normal rate. And it has been, since Nix's death, it has been 2 days. It's been 1 day since the funeral, 2 days since the death.
I begin to feed it.
All right. How many pints?
There's no... Enough, Nathan.
Yeah.
Enough to let this be my sole priority in this moment in time. And whenever I start to feel woozy and I start to succumb to negative effects of this, well, this town is full of individuals who have wronged me, either intentionally or vicariously. And I know where most of their strongholds are.
Yeah, it's full over the coming days. There's no question.
I'm glad. And if I were feeling anything in this moment, I think I would feel happy.
A job well done.
There's something beautiful about doing something simple and effective with a carnal fury that doesn't have emotions in the way to slow you down.
6 weeks later, you do still have the Whispering Winds to worry about, to manage, in addition to your new responsibilities as the Night Warden of this religious institution. Now, your friend Archie has been living in the Whispering Winds for some time, so what's the update with you and Archie? Where's that business relationship / friendship?
The terrible story of Geist and Archie is one of an employer bringing on a new employee with the promise of appropriately onboarding them and then failing to do so. Diving into the deep end and saying, "You'll figure it out, Archie. You'll do just fine." An entire store of magical oddities, odds and ends, trinkets and baubles, with a number of standing contracts with various individuals around Dirge. Hey, you'll figure out the filing system. You'll be okay. There's so little oversight to what is actually going on at the Whispering Winds. Geist shows up when it's time to collect a little bit of coin because he remembers he probably needs to feed himself to stay alive.
I would say at one point when you show up a little bit after hours, but you find the door unlocked, and you find Archie half passed out with empty vials of healing potions scattered around him.
I think Geist makes his way over to Archie's incapacitated, unconscious corpse, begins to grab him by the shoulders, and then just begins to shake them awake. There is no doubt that there is a rage and fury in this, and it's not because of Archie and the decision that they've made. There's no shortcoming here. It's a default go-to when there needs to be some type of feeling. That's what comes to the surface first, as he waits for Archie to come back to the land of the living.
Hey, Geist? Geist. Oh, Geist.
Geist it is, and it's Geist who you'll speak to. What's going on here, Archie? I've left you in charge of something very important, and this is how you repay me.
You're right, Geist. I'm sorry. Okay, first, accounting. I don't understand your system in the book, in the books there, but yeah, Sorry, man. I know I messed up, yeah.
Archie, he hasn't let go of him this entire time. How many chances does someone deserve, Archie? Is it 1? Is it 2? Beyond that, who's at fault? Is it the individual that continues to make the mistakes? Or is it the environment that continues to allow them to make the mistakes? Archie, how many chances do you deserve?
Honestly, Matt, I think fewer than you've given me.
There is a changing of Geist's demeanor, almost as if there is an exchanging of what is forward-facing at this time. Archie, take care of yourself. If you need something, reach out to me before it gets to this point again. I don't want to stumble upon this later, Archie. I trust you. I respect you. I need you to manage this while I am away. I have much more pressing things to deal with. Please, Archie, do not let me down here.
He's looking up at you. Are you still holding on to him?
I think at this moment, Geist realizes that he's holding on to him with a strength that is unnecessarily rough and lets go like he's throwing a snake down. He's afraid of this. He's scared of what he's doing and what he's seeing with his hands.
Yeah, so Archie sort of forcibly sits back down on the ground. And as though of its own accord, his hand makes its way over to a half-finished healing potion. He raises it, realizes what he's doing, and then forcibly sets it back down. Well, I don't know if I can fully process it right now, but if you can go over the accounting with me, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Look, I was a reporter, not a business person, right? I can get it, but I've never done anything like this before.
It's fine. It's fine, Archie. Here, let me show you. And Geist makes his way over to the books, and as he brings out a quill and begins to go through some additional helpful notes, things that you could use as shorthand, where to find certain things, his left hand reaches on to his right forearm and begins to squeeze it, and there is a clear argument going on physically in the central being that is Geist, and he probably only makes it about halfway through the note of helpful clues and hints and where to look for things, and he gets remarkably frustrated. I can't help you much more than I already have, Archie. Use what I've given you, and if you have problems, just leave a message. I'll see it. And Geist quickly aways in an overly dramatic fashion.
It has now been 3 months. 3 months since Nyx died. 3 months since the Cobblers reclaimed the Cobbler's cause. 3 months since he moved into the Undercroft. Where is Geist going now? Primarily emotionally. I know vaguely physically he's going to places to find unwilling donors to this blood tank, right? But where is he emotionally in this time?
If book was an emotion, that's what he's currently experiencing. The answers are here. This is the point of the stages of grief where he's trying to overly rationalize things, and there's an answer to his dilemma here in this book. This purple-hewn, humanoid-skinned, leather-bound tome has the answers to everything that he needs to solve and everything he needs to unpack. It is full of ciphered spells. It has a story that speaks to him on a personal level. And unfortunately, the part that speaks to him is not the message that Nick shared through his eyes to Don Noir. It is that in order to deal with absolute evil, you must become more knowledgeable of those facets of evil than anyone else who wields them. And the answers are here, but they're complicated. And that means that I need to spend as much time as possible diving into it. I think besides ensuring the blood crypt is taken care of, I think Geist barely eats. He stops bathing. He's not taking care of himself. In month 3 whatsoever, there is a lapse in basic humanistic needs in Geist. His emotions become academic. He dives, he pours himself into the contents of this text.
And how does Valor feel about that? Or how are they conversing about the book?
For the first time, Valor finally seems to relent. There's been an uncomfortable combat between the two, and as Geist pours himself into the book, Valor relents. He relaxes. This is fine. If Geist wants to seize power, Valor is more than happy to oblige and offer their opinions and their resources in this time.
And in terms of seizing power, I believe you've started to do that already, right? In terms of coded messages and things that you might be able to translate from this book.
It's been challenging, but I think that Geist has been able to decipher a single one as he kind of hones in on trying to figure out there's different hands who have scribed different text to this and they've all used different ciphers. No, this doesn't make any sense. This one doesn't line up here, and over here we seem to have a different naming convention. They use different languages. It's maddening what they are doing. And after a course of a couple of days and a couple of weeks, I think he is able to decipher a single one that would be a scroll of unerring sphere.
Beautiful. Now, as he does so, Roger, you and I have spoken off air, so I know that Geist has read the epilogue at the end of this book, which contains a warning. So yes, you have a spell scroll of an unerring sphere, but your essence is diminished. The amount of essence points that you can bond to in the form of magic items, if and when that becomes relevant, is diminished. Most humanoids have 100 essence points. They can bond with up to 100 essence points worth of magic items. That is reduced by 5 for you, having translated the first spell.
The feeling of something leaving him, the absence that is left in its place, is, in this moment, a cold reassurance of success and moving in the right direction. There is a simplistic understanding of, I received something and I paid something for it. That's how the world's supposed to work. I can't wait to pay more to get more of what I want.
Prior to our next little time jump, I will just make clear, I'm sure you know this above board, Roger, but the 100 essence points diminishing is also a representation of the wholeness of Geist's soul. And so it's not only a mechanical detriment.
Yep.
Hate that.
Who said
And now it has been
the ghost?
4 months, moving into the 5th month since the tragedy that unfolded, since the gang war with Molitor has come to a conclusion, at least for the time being. I'm sure Geist is conducting his own war against Molitor, but the full-on gang-on-gang battles in the streets.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's gone from gang-on-gang battles in the streets, right, to the Punisher against a gang, I think is appropriate to say right now with Geist.
Yeah, well said.
But at the same time, there's another side to what Geist is experiencing now, and that seems to have been pretty diminished or suppressed or filed away, which of course is the more sad or tender side of grief. But 5 months in, especially given that you're living in the undercroft of the plot of land where Nyx is allegedly buried, do you visit the sapling tree that is supposed to be drawing nutrients from her corpse with any regularity?
I think it would be impossible not to. The same way that we in real life can't help but look at like a car crash whenever we pass by, being able to look at essentially your crime scene and continually going back to it. I think at least once a month he would find himself there, even if accidentally. I find it reasonable to imagine that Geist is also probably like losing bits of time, having not taken care of yourself so terribly. I think other parts of his mental faculties are also decaying, and so finding himself at Nyx's alleged gravesite becomes more and more of a common occurrence as the months go on, and the deeper he buries that pain and tries not to feel.
Yeah, well, let's zoom in on the alleged gravesite sometime in the 5 months afterwards. And this would be one of those occasions. These have happened before, especially given that you and Gregory were in on this together. The two of you have met up before in these 5 months, but let's hone in on one particular time where you are joined at Nyx's supposed gravesite by Gregory. The sapling tree is not doing very well. There are fresh flowers continually brought by probably Gregory and certainly by Nyx's parents, although neither of you would necessarily know this, probably from the cobblers and their associates from time to time. So the flowers around the gravesite are lovely, but the tree itself, its leaves look sickly and yellow. It is pretty small it is a tree, right? But it's an elvish magical tree that feeds on the nutrients of the dead, right? So you know, especially looking around the glade that you're in, you know that these trees should be a little bit bigger in the first few months than this one is.
I think Geist is just there staring, and there is an unknowing of the environment around him. So unless Gregory comes up and breaks this deadpan stare, this unblinking stare at the tree, Geist looks lost. And you probably would be able to tell that there is a striking resemblance between the decay of this tree and the wear of Geist's body.
Gregory will approach behind Geist and very softly say, Geist, I didn't expect to see you here.
Gregory, I didn't expect you until later. Have you come to make an offering to the crypt?
Well, I came to pinch out the flowers and clean up the gravesite like I do, but...
Ah, yes, the flowers, the gravesite. It's terrible what they've let happen to this tree. It should be flourishing now, yet it is decaying.
Gregory is kind of beside himself hearing Geist say that. He'll look between Geist and the tree for a moment. Well, I mean, you know why the tree's not doing well, right? He says it's in a hushed tone. He wants to make sure there's no one around really listening into the conversation. He's like, you know why the tree's not doing well, right?
Geist pans to the right, locks eyes with Gregory. Of course, Gregory, because someone made a mistake.
We all made mistakes. No one specifically made one that day, but that's not... A mistake isn't the reason why it's not growing. I need you to tell me why it's not growing, Geist.
I think as you stare at Geist's eyes, there is clearly some type of fire burning within his eyes right now. There is something else that is currently present, and there is absolutely no doubt that you have seen this multiple times already, Gregory. We've been in cahoots. There has been this very black and white, juxtaposed back and forth, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde energy over the past several months. He usually snaps out of it, but recently it's been taking longer for you to get clear, cognizant, cohesive responses from him.
Recognizing that, I'll say, all right, well, hold these for me. He'll have some flowers that he brought. He'll hand them to Geist and take a little brush that he has, start dusting off the gravesite.
In a softer tone, Gregory, I'm sorry, I didn't see you there. I didn't expect you until later. Have you come to help out with the crypt?
And do you need help, Geist?
Yes, I think I do. I'm struggling to decipher some of these texts, and I was hoping you could assist me. Some of the languages I'm not familiar with. Maybe you could find some books, go to the library, and bring some things to me. That would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, sure, I can try to find you whatever you need. Just, point me in the direction and I'll get you anything you need.
Here,
take this.
Here,
I'll hand you a little bowl with acorns in them. Hold this, don't let that spill.
We are passing each other items. You're passing me a bowl with acorns. I pull out a small, crumpled piece of paper that as he hands it to you, it may as well be trash. And it has a shorthand that clearly looks like a madman's scrawlings on it. And it's got like Charlie Day level red string theories drawn across what is necessary. And Guy simply says, I think everything you need will be on that paper. Just bring me what's written there.
Sure, yeah. Just, he'll tuck it in his pocket. Can tell me more about it in the crypt. Just, give me that bowl back. Put it back on the gravesite.
He passes it back.
Ah, there. Just as good as it was. He'll step back, look at a nice clean gravesite, fresh flowers. Then he'll look back at Geist and he'll say, Geist, you do know why the tree's not doing well. I need you to tell me.
Of course I do, Gregory. It's because we're not done yet. Now, I have work to do.
Well, need help in the crypt still?
Yes. Here. And you would watch as Geist essentially is like already rolling up his sleeves where he's been taking his own blood and just busted veins on both arms. He's undoubtedly had to go to additional locations in order to get good sticks at this point. And he almost second-handedly is asking you, gesturing to your sleeve, seeing like, are you still good? Are we able to get any like good draws from you still? This would really help me out. Like, I'm feeling pretty sick and woozy, man. I think I need to sit down and have a cookie. Like, I'd love for you to get connected to my blood cryo crypt while I sit for a second.
Gregory's shocked seeing your arms. He'll pull you closer. I thought you said you had this under control. I thought you said that you had a source for the blood. You didn't tell me. The source was you.
But one of several sources, Gregory. But when it's challenging to find willing participants, of course I have to oblige.
Oh, you can't keep doing this to yourself. It'll just make you sees how disheveled he is and how just not himself he looks. It'll make more mistakes. If you keep doing this, we need you. I need you to be clear-headed. Can't make a mistake like in the past, because we know what could happen from that.
Very sorry, Gregory, as an 8.5, 9.5 foot tall shadow erupts behind Geist and is immediately going to grab you by the throat and pin you up against the crypt wall.
Nice.
There is a clawing that attempts to scratch at your throat.
We do not make mistakes. Not anymore, Gregory.
But you can't keep using your own blood. You won't be in your right mind, Geist. He's really trying to dig through the point of clearly you're not in your right mind right now.
Half of Valor's demeanor and face fades in a poof of shadow as you can see Geist below, pupils black, the sclera of his eyes black, and from that you can see a small tear beginning to well up in the eye that you can see as pressure first releases from a thumb and then to the index finger as it rolls around as you collapse onto the ground below. As Valor is still very much present, but there appears to be a secondary force, maybe the original force that is attempting to combat this, and you would just hear Geist say,
Go, Gregory, go.
Yeah, Gregory just turns and runs out of there.
Geist walks over to the blood cryo crypt and finds a good stick and begins to make his daily offering.
And now, Geist, it has been a full 6 months. Half a year ago, your close friend died and you were unable to prevent it. You've been through this journey of denial, of anger, of sorrow, of guilt. Where are you now that 6 months have passed, now that it's late summer in Dirge?
The beautiful thing about 6 months passing after an event like this is that for an individual that has healthy, positive coping mechanisms, the distance in the space begins to knit some of the wounds and you start to rectify. You can't change the universe. But for an individual like Geist, who was already so vulnerable and already so broken, 6 months is just, it's a word, it's a term, it's a concept, it's an idea, when the actual event is revisited and lived every single day. 6 months passed, but the feeling of failure hasn't faded. And I think this is what makes him remarkably vulnerable and pliable, so that Valor can finally break through and get apart a little bit of his own infernal wisdom to Geist.
Ventus, you cry thinking about your weakness. You build the cage around you and weep when you are stuck within. Power is not something you are given. It's something that you take for yourself. I will help you, but you have to let me take charge.
Fine, if that is what it takes, then so be it.